It's a pleasure having you here on NewsPrime. Now, former NPP flag-bearer aspirant Alan Kwadwo has officially resigned from the governing New Patriotic Party to contest the 2024 elections as an independent candidate. Now, speaking to announce the big decision today, Mr. Tremanten described the handling of his petition on the conference by the National Council as unmeritorious and unconstitutional. He said it is clear to him that his service and contributions to the party were not appreciated, and his continuous stay in the party will create further tension and division. Hence, his resignation from the party.
After carefully analyzing the results of the Superdelegates Conference, I issued a press statement on the 6th of September this year, declaring my intention to exit the process leading to the presidential primaries. In the run-up to the Superdelegates Conference, the National Council of the party made some of the most controversial and contentious decisions in the history of our party. They rejected a petition signed by 9 out of the 10 aspirants requesting for the Superdelegates Conference to be held in one location, as well as to allow each delegate at the conference to nominate 5 persons instead of 1, in line with the provisions of our party's constitution. In my humble and considered opinion, the decisions of the National Council were both unmeritorious and unconstitutional. It is abundantly clear to me that my services and contributions to the party are not appreciated. And that my continuous stay in the party will create further tension and divisions, which is an exact replay of the circumstances that led to my decision to resign from the party in 2008. Under the circumstances, and given the context provided, I wish to use this platform to announce that I'm honorably resigning with immediate effect from the New Patriotic Party to contest. Thank you very much. To contest for the high office of the President of the Republic of Ghana in the 2024 general elections as an independent presidential candidate.
Mr. Tremanten said his decision to resign from the NPP to contest the 2024 elections as an independent candidate follows a hijack of the party by persons he describes as unscrupulous apparatchiks.
Fellow countrymen and women, I joined the New Patriotic Party at the very beginning of its establishment as a founding member, believing in its core values and the long-standing traditions of its antecedents, predicated on the principles of fairness, equity, probity, accountability, and transparency. I have devoted the best part of my professional career to serving the party, and I still believe in the vision of the founding fathers of the party. However, the NPP, as it exists now, has very little resemblance to the party that I joined in 1992 and helped to Thank you. The party has been hijacked by a selected group of party leaders and elders, government appointees, behind the curtain power brokers and some unscrupulous party apparatchiks.
He therefore outlined the kind of political movement he intends to lead.
I've already put forward for the consideration of our country the Great Transformational Plan, GTP, which will significantly deal with poverty and bring prosperity to our nation. The GTP is anchored on 10 pillars, namely, 1, building a strong macroeconomic environment which will be characterized by a stable currency, low inflation, sustainable debt levels, revenue optimization, tight expenditure control, low competitive interest rates, strong external reserves backed by high levels of liquidity to support the financial sector. 2, introduce a new agricultural revolution for Ghana, which will first take advantage of both local, regional, and global markets. Secondly, be driven by technology, innovation, and cutting-edge research. Thirdly, optimize value for farmers through value chains. And fourthly, promote economies of scale in agriculture through large-scale commercial farming. 3, promoting industrial transformation through value addition and the establishment of strategic anchor industries to diversify the Ghanaian economy. This will also involve the establishment of industrial parks and special economic zones, as well as the aggressive promotion of small and medium-scale enterprises. 4, accelerated infrastructural development, promoting private sector financing for public infrastructure such as roads, railways, ports, harbors, water supply systems, public housing, etc. This will reduce government's exposure to the financing of such infrastructural projects. 5, digital mainstreaming. Mainstreaming digitization in all government and public sector activities and bringing digital technologies to the doorstep of the ordinary Ghanaian. 6, energy security and diversification, placing greater emphasis on the development of renewable sources of energy, including but not limited to nuclear and hydrogen energy. This will require fast-tracking the execution of government's strategy for energy transition. 7, health, expanding health infrastructure and services by enhancing private sector participation in health service delivery across the country.
Now, he cited 4 dominant themes for the change agenda he will be pursuing.
The 4 dominant themes for this change agenda will be pursued, which will be pursued by the movement, are as follows. 1, change the political status quo by moving Ghana beyond the duopoly of the 2 main political parties, the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress. This will break divisive partisanship in governance in Ghana. 2, promote the establishment of a government of national unity, which would include people from all walks of life, irrespective of their political, religious, ethnic affiliations. Rich or poor, able-bodied or physically challenged, young or old, women and men. This will allow for effective and inclusive participatory governance. The movement will lead the formation of a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Number 3, build consensus on a national development agenda, which will introduce a new paradigm shift that moves Ghana from growth and stability to economic transformation. This paradigm shift will be driven by my Great Transformational Plan, GTP, for Ghana, which puts the private sector and the business community at the center of our national development efforts. 4, inspire behavioral and attitudinal change in the people of Ghana.
Alan Tremantin-led government will be a bipartisan one. He announced the intention to appoint ministers from different political parties, adding that Ghana needs a leader, not a new political party.
The concept of an independent candidate becoming the President of the Republic of Ghana, though novel, will be the most innovative and revolutionary development in Ghana's political history. It will indeed be a watershed development in Ghana. Although similar examples of this model have been practiced successfully in countries such as Benin in Africa and other political jurisdictions. In a country like Ghana, that is currently embroiled in divisive political turmoil, an independent candidate who becomes president will be a bipartisan and honest broker amongst different political parties and will bring healing and reconciliation to our body politic. Ministers and other key government officials will be appointed from all parties and shall also include and shall also include individuals who are apolitical but have a demonstrable and proven track record of performance in their field of specialization. Fellow countrymen and women, what Ghana needs now is a new leader and not a new political party.
Let's take you to the Ashanti region, where some party stalwarts are throwing their weight behind the decision by Alan Tremanten to contest as an independent candidate. They have been speaking to my colleague Nana Yao Jima.
I was expecting it, and I'm not surprised at all, because looking at what happened and what has happened in NPP as a party, everybody testified that, Alan has been in the party for a very long time, and he has been intimidated, he has been maltreated, he has not been respected, and so many things. So if Alan has made this decision of going to independence, to me, I'm not surprised. It's even long overdue. It's even long overdue. And in his statement, he made it clear that it is time for Ghana to get a leader, somebody who will lead Ghana, not a political party. Because right now, it has become a trend. If it is not NDC, it is NPP. Everybody knows that NPP will come 8 years, NDC will come 8 years. So it has become a normal norm. So it's like they don't take the youth of Ghana seriously. They don't matter whether they will get work to do, whether they will be employed. It's none of their business.
What do you think about the announcement, the big announcement that has been made so far of Alan Tremanten to go independent?
In my opinion, I think he's part of the team. So, and he's part of where we've gotten now. So why is he going independent? I don't think it makes any change. Because he's part of the team. We've gotten to where we are now. I would say he's part of where we've gotten to now.
When you say where we've gotten to, what do you mean?
We all know how the economy is now. The economy is totally in shambles. Everybody is complaining. We don't even see our left and right. So for me, it doesn't make any change, in my opinion.
So even he believes that the NPP haven't treated him fairly, and that is why he's deciding to go independent and try win power as a president and try transform the country.
Yeah, what could he do differently? Because he's been in the NPP for how long now? So why could he do differently? If he has something to do, we would have seen it, or he should have exhibited his role as a trade minister.
I like Alan's move because I am an NDC supporter. If the party gets separated, we will win. We want it this way. I understand Alan's intention because NPP didn't treat him fairly. Alan has been a supporter of the NPP for a long time, and we know him better than Baumia. It was Alan's turn to contest for the presidency. So, if he wasn't allowed to contest and he has resigned, I understand. We, the people of Magazine, are going to support him.
Now, leadership of the NPP has since issued a statement indicating it will officially address its members and sympathizers on this development, and the party is urging its rank and file to remain calm. So, the statement will be on your screen later on. But then I'm joined by Safo Kantanka. He's a member of the Alan's communication team, and he joins us via Zoom. Alan has resigned. What is next for his campaign team?
Hello, Carlos.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me yourself?
Yes, please, proceed.
That's right. So, good evening to your viewers. Good evening to everyone. You asked a very important question that brings into perspective the whole point of, Alan still desiring to be president. What's next? We are now able to get rid of that barrier, I should say, that stands in the way, between a good man and then his vision for the country. So, for instance, we've been trying to get this idea of changing Ghana, prosecuted very well. But unfortunately, certain interests within the party's precincts were not making it so possible.
Okay.
Creating these obstacles all over. So now we are able to do away with that and still go ahead and prosecute the agenda of, transforming Ghana. And
all right. So who
actually a youth-led movement. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, it keeps breaking, but I think it's fine.
All right. So I was going to ask you, so who are your targets? Who is the Alan team actually directing its message to?
All right, let me predicate that with this statement. So everyone feels, the effects of that jinx between the duopoly, the NDC and the NPP. And so we are calling on every single person who is not happy about, the different dilly-dally between the NPP and then NDC, especially the youth, because it is our fate that is always being toiled with by the NPP and then NDC. Yeah.
So which means you are targeting all Ghanaians. But what new message is Alan bringing to the table as an individual candidate or independent candidate, apart from what we have heard him make as an NPP candidate over the years?
Right. So now we are seeking to prosecute a national agenda. You've heard about the GTP, you've heard about, all the transformational plans in there. But aside the NPP, then now we are able to go directly to the people who matter most. We are able to do away with that that excessive monetization that characterized the delegates' election. And so once he's out, then we are able to reach out and prosecute this agenda.
All right. Thank you so much, Safo Kantanka, for speaking to us here on Joy News Prime. He is a member of the Alan Chirmanton's communication team. Now, Alan undoubtedly is a major candidate breaking away from the NPP in the Fourth Republic. How will this hurt the party's chances in the upcoming elections? Dr. Amoako Baah is a political scientist. He joins us on Zoom. Doc, Mr. Chirmanton says his service and contributions to the NPP were not appreciated, and the party has been hijacked by unscrupulous apparatchiks. Your views on this?
I think it's a bit too charitable, just too gentle. What has happened to him is not fair at all. It's not fair, but that's how he is. He doesn't like to make waves.
All right, so to what extent will this breakaway affect the party, I mean the NPP party itself?
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Doc.
Okay, they've all taken sides, and it's not acceptable. How do you officiate a contest when you're already committed to one side? That is the problem. They don't see that. Let's put everything aside. This is very unacceptable. When the president himself was on stage with Nana B party function, and then Alan was speaking at that function on stage, all of a sudden Nana B comes and get the mic and announce that Baumia is coming. Is that how it's done? Is this acceptable? The president himself was on stage. Did he say anything? Did he say, hey, we can't do this here? This is unacceptable. This is not respectable. Right? He said nothing. The National Council, has anybody said anything? That's the problem. Look at someone like Wuntumi. Tema Wuntumi has become effectively the party, the election campaign manager of Baumia.
He has not been treated fairly at all. But I want to find out. I think you've unmuted your device. If you can, I believe we can now hear you. I was going to ask you, is Ghana ready for an independent presidential candidate and a bipartisan government at this point in our history?
This is a time. Tough times demand tough decisions. This is exactly what happened to Obama. America would never have voted for a black man at the time when he came, but it was a tough time. The choices were very few, and that's where we are too. NDC have come complete mess. NPP have come even worse. So what do? You still want to do the same thing? So let people listen to him as he goes around talking to them. And I'm sure you get a lot of help from other people, and that will make the campaign very, very formidable. We have not seen any credible candidate go independent, but this one is different. So let's see what is going to happen in the coming days.
All right, so the NPP will be speaking officially on this matter tomorrow. What posture should the party actually take?
They don't have much to say. Whatever they say does not matter, because they have pushed him to the end. They have pushed him to the edge, and now he's himself. That's what they wanted, and that's what they've got. So what's the issue here? You are colluding, you are using shenanigans, lies, bribery. What else is left? It's not a political party. That's what I say. The party is not a party I joined. This is a party that has been corrupted to the core. The leaders, including the president, he himself is behind it. Vote buying, all the shenanigans. He's in it. We know what is going on. I'm one of those who campaigned so hard for the president. But I saw earlier, more than 2 years ago, that no, this is not what I'm begging for. And so I started speaking against the party. At least trying to get them to correct something. They won't do it. They do what they want. They steal all the money. Incompetence, thievery, that's what's going on. The party is in the wrong hands. And you cannot correct it from within. The party must die. And it's going to die. You watch it and see. It's going to die. It will be divided in two. The Kumasi people will have the bigger part. The other one will die. Then we get rid of all the rascals running the party now. Rascals. They all want money. That's what they want. MPs taking money. The president paying the money to the MPs. Remove the finance minister. No, that's the one I want. What is so great about this finance minister? He's incompetent. But he is president, is his brother or cousin. And so he doesn't listen to anything. The party belongs to him. He does what he wants. Printing new money, printing money without the recourse of parliament, this alone is grounds for impeachment. You understand? But we don't know what we're doing, so he's dead. he has come out to say that he is not the one who's going to remove us from this quagmire we are in, financial.
All right, Doc, thank you so much.
President in 2022.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate all the details you've been. But what is the Alan effect on the Ashanti region vote? Isaac Kofi is with our research desk, and he has the details on that to share with us here in studio. So this whole thing happening, how is it going to affect the vote from the Ashanti region?
Well, so this is not the first time we're actually doing this analysis. We've done it over and over again. And some even say that it's too early to point out something like that as an Alan effect. But so long as you see people queuing up for new voters, ID, it tells you that the country is ready for 2024. So it's right time for us to do the analysis. So the Alan Tremantin effect is basically what happens to Alan Tremantin in the primaries and its effects in the main election, holding all other factors constant. And so per the data that we have, we've been studying the data and we realize that anytime Alan Tremantin, is voted against in probably the primaries, the presidential primaries of the NPP, it goes ahead to affect the NPP in the main election in terms of, the Ashanti region's vote. So right from 2007, when it first came to the scene, the 2008 election, the 2012 election, all of these ones NPP lost. And in 2012 was when we felt this effect the most, where, Alan Tremantin was voted against, in the presidential primaries. You got, I think, 19% compared to the first one, which was around 32%. Ashanti region responded by voting less than 71% for the NPP in the main election. They lost in 2012, lost in 2008. It was only 2016 when Alan decided, to go on an official campaign tour with President Akufo-Addo, that the Ashanti region responded positively by increasing their percentage share by 5.4 percentage points in the 2016 election. We saw President Akufo-Addo reigning for the first time in 2016. It happened in 2020. But we want to extend the picture probably to the national election, where we have on the screen right now. This is the 2020 presidential election. Okay. The NPP managed to win in 7 out of the 16 regions. This is, an output, or this is a performance they would want to consolidate and probably build upon in the 2024 election. What do you see? Ashanti region really playing, a key role here as the heart of the NPP. The NPP got more than 71%, almost 72% in the main election. With the introduction of Alan Tremantin, what will be the impact? If you look at all these figures that you have on your screens right now, is he going to take from the NPP in almost all of these regions? The NDC must also be watching, because probably they are floating voters that Alan will also be looking at to take from the NDC as well. Okay. But you see the 51.4% there in the Northeast region. Yeah. If you do the analysis, for instance, that's what we are also calling the Baumia effect. So for the first time in about, I think, 6 or 8 years, we've seen the NPP performing so well in the northern region since the introduction of Baumia. So Northeast, for instance, we saw them winning massively by 51.4% in the main election. But the NPP wants to break the 8. Let's look at this, data and see if they will be able to break the 8 in the 2024 election. Okay. What you see, Carlos, here is if you compare 2016 to 2020, where in 2016, Mahama drops from, 51.7% in the 2012 election to 44% in the 2016 election. Now, what we see is that Mahama then begins to climb in the 2020 elections, where he moved from 44% to 47.36% in the 2020 election. So we see the gap, closing. So the gap actually closed between President Mahama, former President Mahama, and President Akufo-Addo in the 2020 election. But with the introduction of, Dr. Alan Tremantin, Honorable Alan Tremantin, will this gap continue to close? Are we going to see a runoff in the 2020 elections, 2024 election? We still don't know. The dynamics are still fresh, and we'll be looking forward to that. But right after, Alan Tremantin put out his, intention to run as an independent candidate, we saw this hashtag actually trending on X. It says, "We are NPP." And this was started by, NPP's General Secretary, Justin Kodua Frimpong, he says, we are NPP. But the hashtag has actually taken some U-turn in terms of what they were actually looking for to achieve with this hashtag. Now, people are responding this way. Okay. So let's have a fear order saying we are NPP, but imagine going into labor and this is your ambulance. Are you really happy with this? And another one from saying, says, this is the year of roads. We are NPP, so you see some roads in very deplorable states. We are NPP, but our water bodies turn cocoa tea. You can see it for yourself there. And let's take the last one. This is the Temamoto way. We are NPP. We've seen it. Let's look at the other one. This is what I wanted to show you. Yes, we are NPP, but $100 is equal to about 1,300 cities. You can count 13 of them.
The 100 city notes.
Absolutely. So that is the U-turn that the hashtag we are NPP has actually taken on next, and we are continuing to monitor the situation, and we'll bring you updates. This is your election headquarters. Mind you that we'll bring you our analysis on this, independent decision by Alan Kojo-Shermanton.
Thank you so much. Kofi Eje is with our research desk here at Joy Newsroom. We'll take a break. We'll return with more. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Keloni. Now to other stories. There is a seeming flame of political consciousness that has been ignited in young Ghanaians. Many of them between the ages of 20 and 35 poured onto the street during the Occupy Jilobi House protest to, among others, demonstrate against the high cost of living, unemployment and mismanagement of the economy. Social media platforms like X and Facebook played a significant role in mobilizing the young protesters. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba was at the unprecedented three-day demonstration which ended with a partial shutdown of the capital as major roads were blocked by the protesters.
Young Ghanaians between the ages of 20 and 35 singing the national anthem after blocking major roads in the capital after police prevented them from protesting in front of the Jubilee House. The singing continued unabated. They argued why they should be allowed to get to their protest destination. Here, I've met a young woman, Fatia. She's the granddaughter of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Her own experiences with Ghana's healthcare system made her join the protest.
The cost of living crisis in this country has reached a point where the minimum wage is less than a loaf of bread. And if that's not enough reason to be out here in the streets, then I don't know what is. I've personally lost women who are incredibly close to me and instrumental in my birth and in my raising because of the poor resources that the healthcare system has. If things don't change, it's going to make living in this country impossible. In fact, living in this country for many people is impossible. So that's why I'm out here protesting.
Also here is Patience. She got to know about the protest via social media platform Twitter, now X. She says she had been looking for ways to vent about Ghana's healthcare system after her father and mother died as a result of an ineffective healthcare system.
So in 2020, right? So my mom was in the hospital. She was in the hospital for a heart condition. Yeah, she couldn't breathe. So she was on oxygen tank. The oxygen tank ran out in the hospital. So that's why.
And then what about your father?
My dad died in 2020.
Also as a result of the same situation?
Yeah, he didn't have a bed at Kolebu.
He didn't have a bed at Kolebu?
Yes, he was in the University of Ghana, Lagos, the
University of Ghana Medical Center.
The hospital, right? Yeah. And for 2 months, they were waiting for a bed at Kolebu for him because they didn't have a dialysis machine at the Lagos hospital.
Joining me now is Dr. Eche Sekanko. He is a leading scholar in political communication, international communication, political framing, campaign strategy, and communication. He's on Zoom. Doc, you observed the protest and saw the majority of young people who participated. What factors are most likely to trigger the awakening of political consciousness in today's youth?
Thank you very much. Quite a number of factors. A feeling of injustice, a feeling that they've been disproportionately served by the financial or economic infrastructure in the country. A lot of times, young people are those who are more likely to have lower financial status or lower financial security. And they are the ones more likely to bear the brunt of an economic malaise or periods of economic challenges. So they are more likely to feel the pinch. So that becomes another factor that fuels it. And also a matter of collective identity, because they all believe that they are going through the same situation. They all believe in the same values, and they express that frustration. They express those emotions through the protests. But also social media also becomes a very important tool that facilitates the sharing and the venting of this expression of frustration. And so it becomes a good system to mobilize, a good system to share information, to connect, and then to transform that or to transfer that into collective action.
All right, but talking about social media, a lot of the engagement happen on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, which is now X. In what ways do social media and digital technology actually influence the political consciousness and activism of today's youth? And are there potential drawbacks to this influence?
Yes, definitely. So social media has become a new form of, has transferred the public sphere in a major way, which means that the way in which democracy has been is performed is definitely has been mediated by the structure of by the digital infrastructure. Social media is a very, very important tool where people are able to express themselves without necessarily going through the traditional media platforms. And so people who are less disadvantaged, people who are disadvantaged, are more likely to use this particular medium to share their collective experiences. And this becomes a very necessary condition for successful protest to be conducted. And we realize that this sharing of collective experiences is influenced through WhatsApp, is influenced through all sorts of social media networks. So people are able to connect more, people are able to share those experiences more, and then that forms a basis for mobilization and a basis for action. Remember that one of the major reasons that people gave to come onto this campaign was because they felt that the police should not have arrested the protesters or should not have prevented them from protesting. And sometimes when people feel that there is a certain level of injustice that has been perpetuated, that then leads them to come together more. So feelings of anger, feelings of frustration, it brings them together in order to embark on the actions that we saw over the weekend and over the past couple of days. All
right, thank you so much, Dr. Eche Sekanko. He is a political communication expert. We'll take a break. We'll return with Showbiz. Please stay with us.